All right, what now? Hey, first of all, um, let me just start out by saying shout out to Carl O'Roe of Ireland for Deathsworn, the comic I had almost given up on ever coming out. It came out. He sent it to me all the way from Ireland and Ireland, and it's got patch and it's got some stickers, and he actually also included, check it out, a bunch of prints and stuff. He just kind of stuffed in here, and it's signed. Carlo Rowe is great. I'm a big fan of his. Um, and, he was super active between, I don't know, felt like 2020, 2021. He just sort of disappeared for a while to work, because he had to actually like knuckle down and get stuff done. But it looks like he did get stuff done. And in fact, he got 2 stories in this book, looks like. I don't know how many pages. His art is at a very high level. And then he also has the art of, which is a good way to move up your page count. But it's all good stuff. This guy's got some good stuff. Big fan of his. Yeah, very slick book. It's about these sort of space vampires. Very cool. Carlo Rowe. Shout out. Great work. Anyway. I'm gonna move these Sworn Club. It's kind of like the Fiend Club for the Misfits. Page 17 got done. That was this one right here. On the last video. So this would be page 18. And accidentally, and yet fortuitously, I think I finally figured out what the real theme of this story is. And the real theme of this story is this: everyone must know their place. And they rebel against it. So, for example, Scimitar is a butler who becomes a guard. And Illuminara is a princess who also becomes a hero. Right? So that's what the theme of this story really turns out to be in the end. I didn't actually plan it that way. I mean, I had a couple of ideas. One of those ideas was I just want to draw a comic about robots in space and have this insect princess lady. But it all sort of came together at the end. That's kind of a fun thing. Our X series hunter killer robot infiltrator scout gets a long speech here. Anyhow, let me go back to the layers here. I'm just going to do the panel borders. I'm wondering if I gave it enough room. I'm looking at it. I'm giving it almost, looks like almost a, this is print size, so that's more than an 1/8 inch. Let's go ahead and tighten that one just a bit. By tightening it, you draw your line and then just move it just a bit. That'll give it just a bit more room. Makes for a tighter gutter. Nothing wrong with that. Now in the end, if we run into problems, this is why I do the I put the text and stuff in there. I can always resize the art, but once I start inking, I don't like to resize the art at that point. I'll have to redraw it from scratch. But this is only a 3-panel sequence. I feel confident that I can get this done on the final page, on page 19. Oh shoot. I can come to a conclusion. I have this great idea for the final conclusion of what they find in the next room that sort of leaves them. It's like a cliffhanger, but we've already gotten to the ending. This is the ending panel. So if you leave a cliffhanger after the end, I think it's okay. It's not like you left a cliffhanger and didn't complete the story. We completed the story. The cliffhanger is the opening for the next story. In this case. And if for some reason I've misjudged it or ungauged it somehow incorrectly, I can fix it. I can fix it if I try. All right, we did it. Congratulations! 5 minutes in, and we've completed the panel borders. All right, let's go ahead and just start setting things up. We definitely need a an ink layer. Ink, inky dink. I just realized. Did you see that? Rename space. There is an ink. Check it out. There's an ink emoji. I didn't even know that was there. I'm gonna put the emoji in there and see what happens if it changes anything. All right. So for this particular panel, I think we're gonna need the reference again of the our same scout model robot. Same dude. This guy right here. And I believe I have him a bit wrong. So let's go into the pencil layer. See how tight it is at the pencil layer, and then like the waist is, and then this should be the shoulder, should be higher up, which means I may end up moving that arm. Let's move that arm. I know I don't have a great like action shot of the arm. I wonder if I also want it to look kind of effortless, so maybe that's the issue. Also, just by looking at this, and you maybe have been wondering because you're like, what? You just cut the guy's arm off. You cut the hero. Centaur, you lost his arm. What's going on, Peter? It's got to follow me on this. There's there's a method to the madness there. Oh, you're right. Now that I think about it, I might need extra panels to show him repairing himself too, or to show at least what happens. Maybe he can just verbally say, I think I can probably repair this with some parts or something. I don't know if I got it right or not. I think I should make the bucket head squatter, like a little bit lower. Yeah. And it's his right arm. That's his right arm. Boom. That's so good. And then, shoom. He's got these two cables. I think the rags of his uniform should be going kind of in this way, in this direction. Same deal here. We got some more rag that was uniform. I think I went a little bit too high on the shoulder over there. Okay. The other thing I could do, I took a different tactic when I designed this helmet originally. Is I let it be square, and then I used these little angry marks to make him look angry. And I think that's a good tactic. I'm going to go back to it. Okay, this to me feels much more convincing. All right, because we have this, we're showing him from behind. We're going to show these two circles. They're almost like ports in his armor. And then we're going to show like this sort of underarm area so that the chest plate looks more like a piece of armor. I think this all looks pretty good. Scimitar looks pretty good. He's kind of designed for action. He's getting just backhanded into a wall here. So, anyway, pro tip if you're doing comics, it's always a good idea to beat your characters up. Don't do the comic where your character never gets beat up. Don't do the comic where the good guy never takes a hit. That's a boring comic. You should reserve the hardest hits, the ones against your main character. Walk. How about like a walk? Wham. Okay, all that's looking pretty good. All right, let's go to the ink layer and grab the rusty nib. Give it a shot here. And where our point of view is above, so this curve goes this way. And we might see some shadow underneath. Just like that. I'm looking forward to this weekend. My plan is to work on some oil pastels. That's what I would like to do. It's definitely been on my mind. And this center line. Where is the center line? Let's say that this is the center line. If that's the center line, that's where the other hole is, right? We should see some cabling and some shadowy stuff going on. Let's take a look once more at the shoulders. They have kind of like this metallic cap. There we go. I have to admit, I'm a little disappointed that I haven't pushed this or been able to push this hard enough. Like on the pose. But I think it's doing good. Okie doke. Does that look confusing? But you just send that away for a second. Okay, you can see that this is the shreds of the sleeve of the uniform that the guy had on. So the robots. So I can give you a little bit of inside info on this. Talor is a colony of the Myrdramites. The Myrdramites are the insect people that, like, the princess is from. An allied group are from Mongo, and the princess of Mongo is a former friend of our main character, Princess Illuminara. A former friend. She was snubbed at a birthday party. At a trade summit, actually, not a birthday party. So the idea here is we will eventually figure out that there's two forces fighting over this planet, and it's the insects, like that beetle you saw, which are called gene tech beasts. They're genetically modified animals and creatures that act as sort of like beasts and monsters. And then they all have these robots that are from Mongo. So it is robots versus insects. And it's no surprise and no coincidence that the main characters are a robot and an insect character. So you might be thinking, why did the one insect attack their group? Well, there's the insects make no distinction, really. They're like monsters. And also, both sides use both types of technology, which is also why the Myrdramites also use robots. All right, I gotta somehow create this third dimension on the claw. I think we can do it. I think we can, maybe not. I do know this. I've got to do these two cables. All right, there we go. This is our back wall plane. This line here, kind of almost in the middle. Midline planes, not a great idea. I mean, they're boring. That's the thing. That's the real issue. Another thing, how could we change that, though? Well, one way to fix it is we could take the midline plane. Let's move it down a little bit. But let's also do... So I have this plane up here. This is a ceiling plane. So we can see a little bit of the roof. Aha, now we've got some legitimate, quote-unquote, two-point perspective, or at least a simulated version of it. I just have to set up my vanishing points correctly, which I have not yet done. Okay. With this wham and this walk, the original plan was to have him get slammed against a wall, but now I've pushed the wall further behind. I could... shrink him down and push him further back. let's just see how it looks. Like he hits him so hard he goes flying backwards. Blasted backwards. The speech is right over here. I think wham is incorrect. I think we really want to show the arm being blasted off, you know. Show the missing arm. And this also kind of enhances our three-dimensionality. There's probably a lot I could just... I may end up reworking this whole panel, but it's a good beginning. It's a good beginning. I'm looking at the possibilities here. We could even throw some foreground up on this side. Just a piece of wall and then a piece of wall right here. I like to call these curtain foregrounds, but they're not always curtains. All right, let's do it. I mean, unless it's a curtain wall. Let's take this out. That was meant to be some flying debris originally. All right. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying I did a great job with my foreground, midground, background, but it is something you should be constantly thinking about. Like, do I have anything in the foreground, midground? Let's put a little tiny thing in the corner. And we'll just use a complete blackout. And to the reader's not going to think about it much. They're just automatically going to register that, okay, there's something really close up. And it's all in shadow because the light is playing out in the middle of the room. Something like that. In the cave. This could be a whole blackout panel with just this long speech here. All right, let's take a look without the pencils distracting us. I've definitely got problems with this door or doorway or passageway. I think we might have another passageway out in the hallway behind it. And we could show that this is a complicated, complex of chambers. This might be a little weird. Oh, let's put a little rim light. As long as we're doing one good turn, it deserves another. We could add more details, especially once we get our tones out. Like we can really show depth and light and shadow and all that other stuff. Let's have that. This is kind of a trick. So when we're One of the ways to show perspective in a room, of course, is, let's say if this was the vanishing point, we would show, you know, these lines that are coming out, that are radiating out from our vanishing point. But in a cave, and a thing where we basically kayfabed, we've totally faked up this 2-point perspective. We can hide some texture on the floor that's narrower and widens out, and this gives us a sense that the room is expanding outwards. And we can also hide it up here in the ceiling. I'm leaving some room because I'm going to have Scimitar up there on the getting knocked against the wall. We also want to worry about line weights. We want to go thinner line weights the further they are away. Let's do the same thing with our faked up radiating lines in the hallway out here. Like, it doesn't have to be straight. It can be kind of a curvy, rivery line, as if this were a river rather than just a texture of dirt and rocks in a cave. I'm thinking of putting like a dent in the back of his helmet, because he gets slammed on the back of the head in the previous panel. If you look at it, he gets spanged right in the head right there. But also, it's the other panel. This is the one where he took one in the back of the head. So maybe he's got a couple of them. All right, he's got a couple of lumps. All right, I might be ending this video soon. I got to think about some of this stuff. The other thing, we'll see what happens. Walk. Yeah, he gets slammed into the back of the wall here. All right, we'll keep working on this. This one is not going to be a super impressive panel just yet, but maybe once I get a little bit closer to finishing, people look at it and go, okay, I see what's going on here. Enough of this nonsense. It makes no difference. At the end of the day, you're just a stupid servant class valet. So the theme here is know your place, and then the rebellion against knowing your place. Maybe not accepting that that's your place. How's that sound like for a theme, for a story, for a literary? Oh, there was a sign, wasn't there? I don't want to detract, so we're not going to put anything on the sign. We might put some alien letters. Wasn't there a sign? There was a sign. All right. One of the things we should do if there was a sign is standardize it so it's looks a little bit more straight, a little bit more believable. The sign says no smoking or something like that, or please clean out your food from the fridge every Friday. Those are the signs that are at my work. Maybe not. Okay. Talk to you later.